Welcome back, and when we last left off, the guys had started laying up these door frames, so this is the next day, and they've got the heavy layers of carbon fiber on here now, so that's 2 of these that are complete now, so at least we've made a start on that, and there's another 8 to go to make up the complete frame of those 5-part molds. And next up, these are the plugs for the upper door skins, and they've had another coat of primer there and the guide coat sprayed on them. So next up with those is some 320/400 sanding, and then ultimately they'll be ready for waxing. And here the guys are just actually finishing off the first set of layers for these window frames. So you can see they're putting a layer of peel ply on there in preparation for being able to put the heavy layers back on the next day. And Chris and Roberto were in the shop early again on Wednesday, and so this is their doing the other one of these window door frames, so they're just finishing off there the first couple of layers there on that one. And now we're on to Thursday, so the guys started on the other 2 or the first 2 molds for the other frame, and so here you can see they're actually just got the layer of glass down, and they're finishing that off. And here's Zach working on the other side one, so those will be ready for Friday for putting the heavy layers of carbon fiber on those. And this is the ones from the previous go round, so here you can see Jeff has removed those plastic boards that we had created there, and there you can see how the mold was laid up against that. So now the next part will actually lay up against those faces, and then we have a nice mating flange, and then you can see the other one. So they came out nicely, and that's the whole goal of just making these flanges so the different parts of the mold can be bolted together and then separated to actually release the part. And at the end of the Thursday, the guys had finished the first set of layers for both of those 2 molds. So you can see they're all peel plied, so that peel ply will come off on Friday morning, and then they'll be putting the heavy layers on those. And Thursday evening, Chris and Roberto back again, and this time they're putting the heavy layers of carbon on both of these window frame molds, so making good progress having these guys on board, really helping out. And now we're on to Friday, and I got the machine fired up again, and this time cutting the plug for the firewall that you saw in the last video. And so you can see those kind of tall stacks there, which are those indentations in the firewall to allow room for the baggage door in front of it. So anyway, the machine all moving along nicely and doing a great job there now that it's all dialed in. And so this one I'm doing kind of a mixture of face cutting and some ball milling. And so, just getting in a routine where we can do things quickly but still have a good quality of finish. Okay, so Friday afternoon now, and the guys are doing their heavy layers of carbon fiber for these 2 molds that they laid up the day before. And so nothing out of the ordinary here, just basically just a little bit more of a rinse and repeat type thing here, going through the molds for these ones. So this will be with these 2 finished, that's 4 down and another 6 parts to go. So we'll hopefully maybe even have them finished by the end of the week, next week. And here's a look at one of the window frame molds that the guys finished off on Thursday with the heavy layers there, and you see they put some peel ply in there so we can make a stand for that as well. And here's a different angle, and just a few minutes later here, a little bit further along with milling this plug for the firewall. So we've got a whole bunch of different parts now that are the tool paths and stuff are ready to go, and you'll see those shortly. And Jeff was going pretty crazy on Thursday and Friday making all these platforms, so we've got the 2 there that are ready for the sort of A-frame braces that meet up to the firewall, and then this one is for the center console, I believe. And this one here is for these new A-frame braces that you'll see here shortly. Actually, firewall braces that you'll see shortly. And here we are just a little bit further along with this firewall, so actually cutting the faces here of these little vertical sections that stick out. You see the one on the left there has already been cut after it was rough cut, so this one will be sort of sliding up there and cutting that whole face on I believe it's a 45-degree angle, pretty close. And here's one of those ones that the guys finished today with all the extra layers of carbon on there. And meanwhile, Kyle, who's doing some of our machining for us, has been laying out parts of the engine mount for water jetting. So this is the back brace here that mounts up to the bell housing of the engine. So that's coming along. We'll have more updates on that soon. And here's some of the other parts that I've been getting ready for milling. So these are these two braces that we need that sort of go between the firewall and the rear bulkhead, or the aft bulkhead, and so those are going to be milled together. So you can see it's all flanged there, and the tool paths are done, so you'll see those being milled next week. And next up we have the lower dash. Now you've seen this before, but I ended up making a change. I took out that center stack because it was going to be too complicated to lay that up as one part and it was going to cause problems later on, so I split that out, the center stack, into a separate part. And so this is what that part looks like with all the flanges on there. So this is going to be the face there on the right hand side there, where the main GTN 750 navigation avionics will be, and then it'll sit on top of the center console. And lastly, here is the center console. So there on the left hand side, that sort of square area there, that's where that center stack that I just showed you sits on top of. And just moving backwards from there, you see a little opening there. That's where the throttle quadrants will come out. And then behind that is where we have a sort of storage area there, and sitting on top of that there'll be a door that's sort of padded for your armrest. And then around the back side there, you see there's another little compartment that will open there, so you have storage for the back seat passengers. And just above that, where that sort of flat area is, there's where we're going to have the outlets for the air vents. Anyway, that's our update for this week. Thanks again for watching.